Howdy Oz, howdy Oz, howdy all our viewers. Welcome to the MMA Talk Show, where in today's video, we'll be talking about the Izzy versus Pereira fight, the 185-pound division, Masvidal versus Burns and Masvidal retirement, Hamza versus Costa, Coach Eugene Bareman shuts down the idea of a Hamza Chimaev fight, Aljamain Sterling posts intense new sparring footage. Dana White gives an update on John Jones. And maybe we get into Sean O'Malley sharing advice for Raul Rosas Jr. Let's get into it. Izzy versus Pereira. Oz, what'd you think of that fight, my brother?
Well, first of all, anytime these guys step in the ring together, we get world-class striking, right? We see two tacticians. We see two people who are, at the top of the game in kickboxing, fight with smaller gloves, and obviously MMA rules. So it's never a dull moment. In terms of how the fight played out, it's so interesting because anytime Izzy was winning the fight, he ended up losing, via knockout. And then the exact opposite happened this time. I thought Pereira looked very calculated. He was making Izzy miss a lot, and he was damaging his legs with those calf kicks. And Pereira it doesn't even look like he throws hard, right? But he's just hurts him every time. Like you could just see his head snap back with a jab. You could see him you could see him huge discomfort every time Pereira touched that leg. And in the second round, Pereira I think really hurt his leg, right? Really hurt Izzy's leg. And I think Izzy was kind of backtracking to get away from that. And I think Pereira, it's a mistake that Pereira made. He went for the finish where I think he should have been a little bit more calculated. Had he kind of kept his distance and, just kind of tore up that leg, I believe that he could have walked away with that fight. But I mean, that's what makes these guys are so high level. Any mistake is punishable, man. And he made one mistake and
one wrong move, right?
One wrong move, and Izzy's
boom, checkmate.
Izzy turtled a little bit, pretending I don't know if he was pretending. I know his
it
leg
was super interesting. He was doing that turtle boxing stance all throughout the fight, right? Continue.
Yeah, no, it's just he was, it looked like he made it seem like for sure he was hurt in the legs, but I think once Pereira got reckless, kept his hands down, boom, overhand right, one to the temple, and good night, right? Story over. And and then that celebration by Izzy too with the arrows, and then he also fell on the ground mocking Pereira's kids, because Pereira's kids, when he got knocked out in kickboxing, flopped on the floor, so that the celebration at first,
revenge, justice,
exactly, a little bit of revenge
to a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
I guess it teaches a lesson a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Izzy was bullied, and he has he's got that chip on his shoulder, which some people have, man.
It was interesting. Izzy going into this fight was all focus, all business. I felt like there was no show for Izzy. He just focused fully on getting the job done. He wasn't, I think we shared some news. He wasn't sharing painting his nails or anything like that for this one. He just went in. He had a mean look on his face all throughout the fight, and he was boxing. And what the crazy thing is, like you said, he was losing, right? Whereas all these other fights, he was winning. And right when it looked like Pereira had him up against the fence, and I don't know if you saw the reaction of that one kid that's going viral online. Of him just cheering. He's like, "Oh, Pereira's got him in the corner. He's gonna win. He's gonna win." And Pereira lost.
Yeah,
stunning, really, how quickly the tides can change in a MMA fight.
Yeah, man. It was super fast kind of turn of events. I mean, when I saw Izzy in the press conference with that dog collar, I was like, man, this guy's losing for sure. He showed up with a dog collar and was like, what did he say? He's like, oh, I'm going to unleash the dog on Saturday night. And I thought that was so, I don't know, I don't know, maybe it
That's probably
resonates.
his Naruto spirit. I know in Naruto there's the fox. I don't know how much there's a connection there, but yeah, I see what you're saying. And I think a lot of people agree with you, where maybe the fame or something is distracting him a little bit and could have caused his defeat. Although, what do you think of this win? Is this like a very stable, like I made a statement type of win, or
I
is
mean,
it a
he made
win?
he made a statement, and I think like, but I mean, anybody watching that, I think Pereira lost that fight. I don't think. I mean, Izzy capitalized, and that's what champions do, man. Like, at the end of the day, a win is a win, and especially by KO, right? But with that being said, was it a
Hmm.
great performance? I think he looked good in those few seconds. Like, other than that, I had him losing the fight, and I didn't really see like he was missing a lot. Uh, it looked like Pereira was controlling the action. Like afterwards, he's like, I went and I hunted him, and it didn't seem like that at all. In watching the fight and rewatching it, wasn't like he was
Hmm.
hunting him down and like piecing him apart. So I think, to be honest, I think Pereira lost that fight. More than like Izzy won and he capitalized. And I sound like I'm talking shit against Izzy. Like, good for
No,
him.
not at all. I
He's
mean,
he's
hmm.
he's unreal. Like, just like world class. And but at the same time, like, just like looking at it objectively, I think it's just a really big mistake that Pereira made, leaving his hands down like that. And
And you
yeah, like,
think
you
that
just
that
can't.
should have cost him the fight. And even despite him winning most of the fight, you having him winning most of the fight, one fatal mistake you say is unforgiving, and Izzy 100% deserves that win for that reason.
He deserves that win. What I don't agree with this, what I don't agree with is, and even though Pereira got a chance and he won and he lost, there's not too many fights in that division that make sense. Like, Izzy's already ran through everyone. So even though people may not want to see it, in my opinion, the trilogy is the fight that makes the most sense. Like, I don't know who else fights Izzy. Like, nothing else. I mean, there's some big fights. You could have Hamza. You could have, but like everybody else, I feel like Izzy's ran through already, right? There's a
Mm.
few guys in the top, like from 5 to 10, that I think that Izzy hasn't fought yet. Who is it? Like, yeah, Driscus Duplessis. He already fought Strickland. He already fought Brunson. He hasn't fought Roman Deladze. He just came off a win.
Have
Um,
you have you? I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Have you seen Drakus kind of talking some smack with Izzy about how Izzy's not a real African, and Drakus is, and how Africa's
yeah, he
behind
said.
Drakus and not Izzy?
Yeah, well, I believe what happened is he said, "I'm the first real African to bring the belt. Like, I'm really bringing the belt back to Africa." Like, and he kind of took a jab at Francis Ngannou. He took a jab at Kamaru Usman. Took a jab at Israel Adesanya, right? Because all these guys obviously are living outside Africa, but they rep Africa, and I believe most of them were born there. So um, yeah, it's a stupid comment, and I think because, like, like,
Just to
especially,
get some beef
it,
brewing,
is
you think?
Duplessis from is he from South Africa?
I think so, but let's check that live, my brother. Drakus Duplessis birth uh, place. I think it said South Africa there for a moment.
Yeah, so I think, like,
Hatfield, Pretoria.
yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, there's like, when someone like that says something, kind of like, I could see how it gets taken wrongly, and it was kind of a dumb comment, I think. But he could say, I'm the only person living in Africa, but the way he said it is almost like they're not African enough because they're not living there, which is, you know what it
Yep.
is, what it is, I guess. But yeah, I could see how these guys want to. So, like, after the fight too, Izzy called out someone. He's like, I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, there's a few people that need to do something to impress me, and I'll give him a chance. But so he could have been talking about Duplessis, or he could have been talking about Hamzat. I don't know, but Hamzat's.
Mm-hmm. Coach Eugene Bareman just shut down Hamza, pretty much. I'll go into what he said. He was saying, "Has Hamza fought at middleweight yet? We can't be ridiculous. This is the most prestigious title in the sport. Sometimes business takes precedent. I understand that. You're just devaluing the organization. You're devaluing the sport. You're devaluing everything that we've stood for. At the minimum, fight 3 guys that no one's heard of, kind of like Pereira. I'm not arguing against fighting Hamzat. I think Hamzat would be a great fight. He's a big name. He's a challenge. And we're all about challenges. He brings high-level MMA wrestling to the sport. That's challenge, and I love the challenge. But I'm arguing for the prestige of the UFC, for the brand, and for the sport. Hamzat would be a great fight, and Israel says to all these opponents, I hope you go out and get the job done. Do your job, Hamzat, so that you can see Izzy. So it seems like Hamzat's probably not going to happen unless, UFC's all showbiz, baby, which it is a lot of show business. But like the only other person that has a pretty good claim for this, I mean, you've got Alex Pereira that makes the next, you make the trilogy, Robert Whitaker, like Izzy's taking him out. Marvin Vittori's Izzy's taking him out. Jared Cannonier, I don't remember if they fought. Paulo Costa, they did too. Yeah, Paulo Costa. And so Dracus is the next in order on the middleweight.
Yeah, but I bet if you look at who he's fought, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody as good as Gilbert Burns is at 170, right? Like I know Eugene Bareman. Like I don't think they want that smoke with a wrestler like Hamzat. Hamzat, I do believe will take. The only.
Do you think that's why Coach Eugene Bareman's maybe that's a deeper reason why Coach Eugene Bareman's saying let's get more tape. As a coach, he's probably like, let's get some more information on Hamzat, study him a little bit. Like, I feel like a coach would want that before exposing his fighter to someone that's relatively not that well. Like, there's not that much footage of Hamzat, at least in fighting the top guys in the UFC, right? And Gilbert's the one man that's really put him to test and showed maybe some weak kinks and etc. Talk to me on that.
I mean, I don't think, to be honest, Izzy went out and fought Jan Blachowicz. Izzy's always taken on the biggest challenges. I don't think they're afraid. I think they're just trying to call the shots. But at the end of the day, if the fight makes sense, it is a challenge for Izzy, and it's one, and it would do numbers, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I mean, the coach can say whatever they want. If they get a number put in front of them, they're not going to say no, right? And
money talks.
Yeah, money talks. And what's that guy? I can't remember the guy's name. I'm making his name up. It's like Paul Craig or something like that. He helped train Alexander Volkanovski. He's a BJJ guy and a wrestling guy. He helped him train for Islam. And so you can bring somebody in to help kind of train against those takedowns, I guess. But I mean, it would be an interesting fight because stylistically it's a bad matchup for Izzy, right? Somebody who can wrestle, grapple. I forget the guy's name. I'll find it later.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, I think the state of the 185 division is kind of in a weird position, in my opinion. If you look at 170, you look at 155, you look at light heavyweight, there's a lot of different fights that could happen and they all make sense. But at 185, I mean, Pereira makes the most sense to me again. I know it's kind of weird. And Hamzat not scheduled, but there's talks of Hamzat versus Paulo Costa in Abu Dhabi in October, right? So that'll also do numbers because Paulo Costa's pretty funny online.
That would do numbers for sure.
Yeah, he's a draw, and him versus Hamzat would be. I just feel like Paulo Costa hasn't had a good showing in a while, right? He lost to Izzy.
But there is that talk of Paulo and Strickland, and then Paulo and Hamzat, which both are very exciting to see. So yeah, but how long until we see another Israel Adesanya fight? Will we see him fight this year? It seems like some things have to shake out in the division. Maybe get a Paulo Costa versus Hamzat fight. And then maybe the winner of that takes Izzy, if we're not speaking Pereira trilogy. I'm curious. What do you guys want to see?
Yeah, if that's the case, it's gonna have to wait till after the new year, right? Because late October is a bad turnaround time. You basically have 2 months left in the year, so
Mm-hmm.
might have to be into January. But yeah, maybe I think I have a feeling, and I could be totally wrong, but I have a feeling like because Izzy really didn't he didn't dominate Pereira, and like it wasn't a fight that's like, oh, nobody wants to see that again. No, there's two fights that have been really close, and
Hmm.
they both knocked each other out. Like it's actually the perfect storyline. There couldn't be a better storyline, and they fought in the
Hmm.
past. Like there's, I don't
And
know.
it's
I
kind
think
of cool how it's been switched, where like in the previous fights, Izzy was winning like all the rounds, and then he gets KO'd at the end. Whereas this time, it seems like Alex was winning, and then Izzy knocks him out. Right? That's crazy.
yeah, bro, that overhand right was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that left hook before that from Pereira was crazy. So I mean, yeah, like I again, just looking at the division, thinking about it, it doesn't seem like if I had to make a case and I was in trial, my
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Pereira, and I'd have good evidence, and I think I'd win that case. Like I couldn't make the same case for anybody else who's he's fought and kind of, he's either picked apart. The only guy he's really went to war with was Kevin Gastelum, right? Which was
Mm-hmm.
way back in the day. And Kevin Gastelum's like a
Mm-hmm.
tiny 185, or he should be 170, really. And then he also had a pretty close fight against Yoel Romero, which was really uneventful, right? It was one of the most boring fights we've
Mm-hmm.
ever seen. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, interesting place for the 185 division to be. But I think if Costo fights Hamzat and they do the trilogy, then they could have like a really big fight in the beginning of 2024.
That would be sick. That would be sick. I would love to see any combination of those. But yeah, the thing
And then sorry, the
Mhm.
last thing is to Dana White keeps saying that Pereira is going to go up to 205, and
Mhm.
so if Yuri fights Jamal Hill,
Mhm.
I don't know when Yuri's injury
It's
is
gonna be
done.
healed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Ankalaev fights
Hill. Mhm.
yeah, Jamal Hill. Then maybe they give one fight to Paeta, like somebody like Rakic or Krylov or somebody else, and then the next fight he fights for the belt. That could,
Mhm.
because they keep saying Paeta is going to go up to 205, but I mean I haven't heard that yet officially. Like it's just Dana White that keeps saying it. So I guess he had a really bad weight cut.
That's what
Um,
I wanted to ask about. Have you like seen any leaks? I haven't seen any information, and it's not like he like looked
yeah, I heard in a
McGregor
podcast.
skinny or anything. Hmm.
I heard in a podcast that he had 2 pounds left, like an hour before he was cutting weight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a
Okay.
pretty apparently it was a grueling,
Hmm.
grueling kind of
Cut.
yeah, grueling cut. So
Oz. Masvidal versus Burns.
yeah, first of all, man, shout out shout out Gilbert Burns first and foremost, like in that fight, right? He's looking better and better every fight. And yeah, he totally dominated that fight, right? And Masvidal is just like, legend, legend, legend. Such a fun guy for the sport, an awesome guy for the sport. But I feel like he didn't have that same pep in his step. He just,
Hmm.
and he even said it on Ariel Helwani. He was talking to
Hmm.
him a few days ago and said, like, you know what, my like, I'm thinking things, but I can't do them with my body in time, right? So he's just
Hmm.
not doesn't have that same those same reflexes, the same.
Age, wear and tear is starting to
Yeah,
take
the
its
guys,
toll.
man, the guys fought what
Hmm.
50 times in the
Hmm.
UFC, or not, I mean, as a professional fighter, he has like 35 wins, I think, and like 15 or 16 losses, and I think he's got like over 50% finish rate. Like the guy's, he's had such an amazing career. He's fought legends. He's fought everybody. This guy, man, he's fought. Like back in the day, he knocked out Yves Edwards. He's fought Kamaru twice, the flying knee against Askren, knocked out Darren Till in the UK, beat up Donald Cerrone, Jake Ellenberger. I mean, he has so many. He's fought like he has a lot of losses too. I'm just talking, lost to Colby obviously in a somewhat close fight, I'd say. But yeah, he's always like the last, I want to say, 10 years he's been fighting like killers, right? Moved up from 155 to 170, like, and he's got Game Bread Promotions too, right? He has his fight league now, so the week before the fight, they had an event, right, which we talked about on the show. So I think he's going to be around in the sport, but for now, I think he's just kind of, I think it was a good decision for him to retire. You see some other fighters kind of hang on a little bit and just kind of take too much damage, right? Like Hall of Famer Donald Cerrone, right? Like the guy's just a legend, beauty, fight anyone anywhere, but you hate to see someone take that much damage in his last like 5, 6, 7, 10 fights, right? So
yeah, it seems like the timing for Masvidal is perfect because I think some fighters extend it because maybe they don't have another thing like a backup plan yet. It's like, this is all I know. This is all I've ever done, really. Where with Masvidal, he's like, I can see like I can no longer hang with the top dogs, the top killers, and so it's my time. And he's out, but he's definitely going to still be around in the sport with Game Bread. He's in Miami, which is like the new Las Vegas, around ballers and people that make things happen. So it's definitely
he
not
said
the
something.
last we've heard
He
of
said
it.
something interesting, which I liked. He said, "He's like, I can still compete, right? He's like, but I can't compete with the best guys." And he's like, "I don't want to just fight fights for like money." He's like, "It's not all about money." And obviously, when people say that, they got money, right? So I think he's made his money, and he has several kind of ventures outside of fighting in the UFC, and yeah, like it was interesting because in the post fight too, Gilbert Burns said that he cheated. He said that he kind of like oiled up and kind of like absorbed it into his skin, and then I think like 2 days later, Gilbert Burns apologized. He had like a video where he's like, "I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that and whatnot." So,
did he say he didn't have enough proof, or was it just like maybe
pardon me?
misinformation? Was when he apologized? Did he end up saying it was misinformation, or like did you catch what?
When he originally said it, he just said like he felt so slippery. He's like 100% he cheated,
Okay.
And so his apology was just like, "I'm so sorry to the
Masvidal's like, I'm just slick, man.
Masvidal, he's like, "I'm the sweatiest guy ever." That's all he said.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe some people sweat
Yeah,
slippery or
no,
I don't know.
100%. 100%. Me and Matachin with MMA Talk, he's been teaching me BJJ a bit lately. And yeah, sometimes when he gets sweaty, it's hard to grab him, man. It's like that's definitely a factor in this game.
Oh,
The
bro,
sweat gland.
that's why some of
That's a
these guys
weapon.
can. Yeah, that's why some of these guys can wrap a guillotine in the first like minute of the fight, easy, as opposed to later on where everyone's it's just like lubrication, right? Everything's just
Talk
flipping
about
over.
a lot of factors that go into these fights, huh? I like how you can win in so many different ways, like McGregor with with his collarbone. Wild.
That was probably the worst fight I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, you can win in
that's
so
up
many
there,
ways.
like that's up there with like Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou, where they hardly like punch each other, and then Izzy Romero, like that was like you'll never. I don't
Wild.
know. Yeah.
Wild. I kind of want to rewatch it. Do we
I
have
don't
it
know
here?
if yeah. Yeah, like come
Fuck,
on. Who
getting Cerrone. What a rare knockout. But yeah, there's so many factors that go into this.
but I don't know if YouTube's pretty strict.
Yeah, before I don't know, before I
Yeah,
post that,
maybe talk to coach before you
I'll talk to coach. Yeah, but I know I know we want to post this up today. We'll see. If anything, we'll post it up tomorrow. All right, brother. All right, brother. What's next? Aljamain Sterling posts intense new sparring footage. Aljamain, what a shredded cat, man. He is so lean.
I don't know if this guy's gonna make weight, man.
Yeah, you think Aljamain struggles a little bit to make weight?
I don't know. Like I don't know anything, right? I don't I don't know how easy or difficult his weight cuts are, but just looking at him, it doesn't make sense. Like
He doesn't have much weight to like lose, right? He's always walking around so lean and mean.
Yeah, it's I mean, I mean, he probably will make weight, right? Like he's championship caliber, and it's not their first rodeo, but yeah, I mean, he just looks so big, and he's jacked. So I don't know if he, he probably won't make weight. But the important thing is he was injured for a long time, and it's good to see him back in the gym again. And I think we'll, I don't have any predictions yet, to be honest, because I haven't really watched tape and thought about it. But I think maybe next week or the week after we can kind of get into this and break this down.
Him and Triple C, right? You're talking about how Aljo's so big. He's so much bigger than Triple C, right?
Yeah, Triple C's an Olympic gold medalist. Oh man, that's a different animal.
Saying size doesn't matter.
It's emotion in the ocean. Yeah. No, it's like size and power does matter for sure. It does, but I mean,
not when you talk about Triple C though.
Yeah, Triple C's a different. I mean, let's see, man. I don't know how. We'll be able to tell. I think right away. Like once they kind of get into a clinch or once somebody gets underhooks and like I feel like Aljamain will be a lot stronger than him and just kind of ragdoll him, but I can't. My mind's. My mind doesn't let me believe that because it's Henry Cejudo, and Henry Cejudo is very smart. He's a very, very, very smart fighter, man. So I do believe he'll come correct with the right strategy and the game plan, and he can wrestle and grapple too. So it's not like Aljamain's utilized that against some of his other opponents very well, right? And he's not going to be able to take this advantage as much in terms of wrestling against someone like Cejudo.
You're right. Absolutely right. Aljamain's 5'7", Cejudo's 5'4". Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm excited to talk about that. That fight's in start of May. That'll be.
Who do you think, based on like just?
You know what? I want Triple C. I like Triple C. He's likable. I like Triple C. I'd love to see him win. And I think he does it. I think he gets the win. Although it's not going to be easy. I mean, Aljamain's taller, longer. He seems like he's peak performance. I mean, his training partner is like the number 2 ranked guy right after him. So he's not only at the peak of his performance, but he's right under him. He's got another diamond sharpening him every day in Merab Dvalishvili. So, I mean, this challenge for Triple C, I mean, it could be one of the toughest ones he's ever had. But at the same time, Triple C's had time to recover, relax, start to love and enjoy the sport again. And, I mean, if anyone's fit to take him on, it is Triple C. So I think it's going to be a freaking phenomenal fight.
From what I hear too, Aljo's like a really nice guy. Like they're both, both seem like they're good people. Like in terms of in the sport, the way they treat some of the other fighters. But I heard Aljamain's a really nice guy. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I like these fights where I don't know, right? But I think if I watch some more tape, when we get into it for real,
let's dissect them both in the next coming days. Watch their fights and yeah, come into this conversation a little bit more battle ready, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Oz, Dana White gives an update on Bones, John Jones. Where's he at? Where's he gone?
Yeah, so
Is
I
he
mean, like
partying?
it seems like typical John Jones, right? Like if you look at how many fights John Jones had in the last little bit, and I'm not saying anything like it's bad or good or whatever. I'm just it is what it is, right? Um, yeah, he's just he doesn't fight as often as someone like Izzy or somebody else, right? And obviously he's a lot older too.
Nowadays,
Um,
yes.
yeah, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like he fought the last time he fought before this was 2020. Before that was 2019. Fought twice in 2019. Fought once in 2018. Fought once in 2017. Fought once in 2016. Once in 2015. Once or twice in 2014. Once in 2014. Once in 2013. So the guy, once a year seems to be his kind of mo. But yeah, like the Stipe, I'm not excited for it at all. I actually
Mm.
couldn't. I couldn't care less about that fight. Like Stipe,
Mm.
Stipe's like,
I can tell. There's some people that are like, what? Oz, tell me
but
why.
no, but
Tell me why you're not
when's
excited.
the last time Stipe fought?
Mm.
Do you
When's the
know?
last time Stipe fought? Let's see. Stipe
Like,
Miocic.
and
But
listen,
yeah.
it's no secret. Like,
I'm thinking of the Ngannou knockout. That's like the first thing knee jerk
yeah,
reaction that comes to
that's
mind.
exactly what it was,
Mm.
I believe.
Mm.
Um, is he even in the rankings? Oh yeah, he is. He's number 2. Wow.
And that is his last fight, Francis Ngannou. Um,
So
so yeah,
2021.
has just too much time passed? Is that what you're saying? Too much time has passed, and
Yeah,
so
like when
I'm not. Mm,
if you're in your 20s or even early 30s and you take a few years off, yeah, I feel like you can come back into it. But I mean, Stipe is what, 38, 39?
Stipe also usually like 2021 Francis Ngannou, 2020 DC, 2019 DC, 2018 DC, 2018 Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
What?
like he fought a
Him and
lot. Like,
Francis Ngannou fought in 2018? Forgive me for being a casual. I did not know they fought
yeah, he
before.
knocked him out.
Yeah.
Ngannou
But
knocked him
that's
out.
when Francis wins.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know. To me, I have a feeling there's going to be like such a like I'll put it won't be as fast as Gone because Stipe can wrestle and he's not going to get taken down right away. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't like. It's been
Do you
2
think
years.
Jones wins that one?
Yeah,
Easy?
yeah. Not easy. Like maybe first end of first round, second round, or it goes a distance and he just you know I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Mm.
the thing about Stipe too is he's kind of like he's got a chin too, right?
Mm. He's got a chin. He's smart. He's experienced. He's a real heavyweight. Been a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And
So
John Jones,
by the
he's
time this fight
all we
happens,
know is a couple seconds of John Jones at heavyweight. So
yeah, by the time this happens, it could be 2.5 years since he's
oh, you
last fought.
think that? I don't know. I got a feeling that John Jones wants to fight pretty quick. I feel like he's excited after the break.
Yeah, maybe. Dana
I think
White
they'll
said
still
like
fight this year. He didn't take
Dana
any
White
damage
said that
after the last one.
Yeah, it could happen this year, but I mean that's still
Mm-hmm.
if it happens at the end of the year, it's still that's still 2.5 years that Stipe hadn't fought.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
It could
it
be his
actually is
last, right?
it actually is a good match. Like it's in theory, it's a good matchup. I'm just really worried that Stipe's like I don't know. I haven't watched him like train or spar, but he's taken a lot of damage in the last few fights, and I mean I don't know, man.
Oz, you know what I worry about in that fight? I worry about Stipe being such a likable, great man, and I worry about John Jones being such a dangerous, brutal killer of a fighter.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Rampage Jackson, like he messed up Rampage's knees to this day, like serious injuries, serious elbows, serious like kicks to the knee, right? And I just hate to see something I'd hate to see Stipe get injured in there.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like that's kind of what I'm saying is like I don't know if like he's taking some damage. It's not because the guy's he seems like a really like down to earth like awesome guy, right? Like he doesn't seem like he's caught up with the fame or like thinks he's better than everyone. He thinks guy looks like a beauty. Like he seems like he's a beauty, right? Like just a good all around guy. Good friend, good family guy. But yeah,
good
I don't.
Ohio man, firefighter.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
no one wants to see anything bad happen to Stipe.
yeah.
But you and I both know that Stipe is such a warrior that, like, if he was in here with us right now, he would say, "What are you guys fucking talking about? I could totally go in there and hang with John Jones." You know, that's like probably the number one thing he wants. That's like the cherry on the cake of his legacy and career. To whether he wins or loses, right? He's gonna go in there and go to war. At least that's my feeling of Steve.
Yeah,
I
and you
don't
know what?
know.
Like, I'm judging. I mean, who am I to judge Stipe?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we're
yeah,
just talking. That's the
yeah,
beauty of this, right?
yeah. Like this might make him feel alive again. Maybe he's missing this in his life. Maybe he wanted to fight, but other things happen. Other things got in the way. I just, yeah, I really just don't. I don't like seeing I don't like seeing older fighters just get mauled and like knocked out. And I just it's not something I like seeing, right? Unless it's someone I like really hate, then then I'm all about it. But
then feed them to the wolves, feed them to the
yeah,
lions.
yeah. But I mean, like with someone like that, you just it's more out of respect that I feel this way. But yeah, man, like we'll see what happens. It's just not a fight that excites me at all, though.
I just had a side thought. Who, if you're Stipe or any fighter, I suppose, who is more frightening more dangerous, more intimidating of a fight? Francis Ngannou or John Jones?
I think Francis Ngannou.
More intimidating, more
Yeah,
dangerous, more
because
lethal. Like
yeah,
if you're Stipe, you
Jones
worry
is
about Francis more. Sorry, I kept talking over you. I'm an asshole.
It's a good question. Like, I mean, it depends what you're scared of, right? Like, there's some guys that could break your arm, right? Like, there's like, so I don't think Ngannou is that type of guy, right? Like, he's been doing
he's the type of guy that'll just put you to sleep.
Yeah, he'll take a sledgehammer to your head, right? Like, and
Yeah,
that to me is like
fucking scary.
oh, bro, like it looked like two grizzlies going at it when him and Jairzinho Rosenstruck when they were swinging, bro. It looked like it was the scariest thing ever, bro.
I love heavyweights, man.
Heat. They were throwing heat at each other, and
that's why heavyweights fight less. Oz. I mean, you get two grizzlies in there, man.
The reason why the heavyweight and light heavyweight division aren't as
active,
as competitive is because all those other guys are in boxing, they're in NFL, they're in other things that make them a lot more money, right? Like, I think moving forward, things will start to change. I think MMA is growing, but I think like the state of those divisions is that they're like because. Think about how many people who were like really competitive for a long time, and it's not as like if you think about the 155 division or something like that or 145, right? Like there's like those guys aren't playing sports, like they're not playing those crazy sports as much. Like I think that's why. I don't know.
As you say that, my mind goes through like a rabbit hole of like self experience of growing up in high school. The really big guys, the heavyweights, they did not need to go to self-defense classes, right? Because they're just fucking big. People naturally don't bully the big bear, right? They would play football because football helps pick up the ladies and the culture. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, football for sure. Wrestling, maybe a little bit, not so much. Like outside of wrestling, outside of football, what else do heavyweights go into?
I mean, boxing, man. There's a lot of money in boxing,
Boxing,
right? There's a
yeah.
lot of
It's
money
the
in
money,
boxing.
it's the precedent, yeah. And now as culture changes in the US and in the world, I guess a lot of young people are starting to go from boxing to MMA, right? Or the yeah. So
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
think
I
MMA
agree
is.
with you.
I think these divisions are going to become more competitive. I'm not saying they're not competitive. Like someone like John Jones
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like Ngannou, those guys are world class. Like those guys are, and I'm just saying like they're not as competitive as like, as lightweight or welterweight or featherweight in my opinion, right? Like
Mhm.
that's just kind of
It's the
how I see
beauty
it.
of the MMA
Yeah.
talk show, baby. Like just a discussion and just talk. I
And
love it.
boxing is like
Mhm.
boxing. You focus on boxing. Boxing's already like chess, and you can use two arms, your two hands to hit to strike,
Mhm.
right? Like so, you get to like it's a different type of exercise, right? Like it's a different. Whereas MMA, it's like the variables are infinite. There's so
Mhm.
much. You can get kicked, you can get taken down. It's different. It's a different beast, right? So, um, yeah, I don't know. Like I'd love to hear other people's theories, and I'm not set on my theory. I'm just it's just something I've thought about in the past.
I'm gonna loop it around. Where is John Jones? What are you doing if you're John Jones? Is he just, peaceful, training, chilling, meditating? Uh, Dana White says he's disappeared. So I guess they're not in talks. It's unknown of whether and when he's going to be fighting.
So the thing that is known is that he wants to fight Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
So that is
Okay.
known. But
It's
timing
just a
and like
question of when.
a question of when, and the fact that we're not, I don't know, just right. Like usually when you hear something about like when did John Jones last fight? Was it a month ago?
UFC 285.
285. So when was that? Like
That was in March 5th, a
okay,
month ago.
so 5 weeks ago, right? So 5 weeks ago he fought, and usually like I don't know when you hear like when you hear inklings of like a fight, it happens within a few weeks, right? But if Dana White's saying like, "Oh, I'm not really in communication with John Jones," then maybe he's going to take the summer off, and I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. Um, okay. Sean O'Malley shares advice for Raul Rosas Jr. Summed up, pretty much Sean says, listen, take 2 years off, train, get better, and then come back into the spotlight, the limelight. Do you think that's a good idea? Is that a bad idea? What would you do if you were Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest cat in the UFC?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what I would do. Right? Everybody's situation is different. I don't know if he's trying to make that bag, but he is competitive. Like I think a guy like that, maybe he could, do jiu-jitsu tournaments and maybe do some other thing. I don't know. I don't know like where Sean O'Malley's coming from on that one, but he is super young. And if you start off now and you're like fighting top 5, top 10, for the next 10 years, that's a lot of wear and tear too. So I think, some people are of the opinion that if you get involved too early, but then again, if you look at a lot of the Dagestani fighters, these guys fight amateur fights from a very young age, right? And that's why they have so much experience. So, I mean, he kind of got into the best league in the world very early, and that's kind of his thing now. And, it's not like he did terrible that fight. I think he was just inexperienced. Like it looked like he used his gas tank in the first round and didn't leave anything in the depot. So maybe moving forward, he tries to he learns from that, and he tries to put like an 80% pace or a 70% pace in that first round, right? Like, so still so young, very talented, seems very competitive. So I don't know what I would say to him or what my advice would be to him, but I could see where certain guys are coming from, saying like, you know what, wait for and dude, he's what? How old is he? 18, 19? This guy's not even strong yet. He's not going to start getting really strong until he's like what, 25 or. I don't know if that's science or anything. I'm just saying, like.
No, I mean there is you do get stronger with age, right? Maybe less flexible, less quick, but definitely stronger.
So maybe he does like wait a little bit or change his approach. I don't know, but
it's tough. It's tough because like at one point, like you've got all the limelight, you've got the attention right now, and it's like to give away that attention. In the UFC when it's not easy to get,
I don't know what people are
expecting
from no.
But yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Tom.
I mean, like with like the blessing of Dana, maybe, or a little bit of like hype with Dana and him being the youngest one in the division. Like, I think people like to hear
the story, right?
Stories,
like,
or
it's,
like,
it's more about the story of his. But I mean,
like that it didn't work out. I don't think it's like shit. Yeah, it's all right. He'll come back. He'll learn and he'll grow.
Oh, bro, he's young. He was like, in my opinion, he was destined to lose at 18.
Like you learn more from like. It's good that he's losing at a young age, right? He should come back now and be stronger, right? And like you said, he's going to learn that lesson with manage the gas tank a little bit better. But yeah, everyone like that advice, that Sean O'Malley advice, is asking him to give up that limelight right now.
I don't know. Maybe take easier fights. Maybe fight less. I don't know. I don't know what the formula is, but I mean, if he's really competitive, he's gonna be in the gym right now working his ass off harder than he was, right? It depends. Like, everything depends on how much you want something. When you see these guys who say like, I'm gonna be champion, those are the guys that usually become champion. It's not the guys who are like, oh yeah, I'll see what happens. Like, you see guys like Chimaev and Rosas, they're like, their game, man. They want to be champions and they become champions. You see guys like Islam that say like, no, that belt is mine. A year or two before he got that, he's like one day, inshallah, he's like, this belt's gonna be mine. You can tell the guy's not joking around. Like, those competitive
they set one clear focus and put all their energy into that. Where focus goes, energy flows, and results always show.
Yep.
And this guy, he's got a look of fucking focus in his eyeballs.
He's so good already. He's so good. So I see a bright future for him, man. I don't see, unless he gets discouraged, unless he,
Focus, man.
Do you see Paulo Costa's? Do you see Paulo
money
Costa's?
On my mind.
Did you see Paulo Costa's post about him?
I may have, but I sometimes get so much information overload that it's escaping me right now.
Are you on your phone right now?
Costa. I'll type it in here.
Paulo it's Costa, so bad.
Raul Rosas Jr.
I shouldn't even said anything.
Oh shit! Fuck it. Paulo Costa goes viral, viciously mocking UFC's youngest signee, Raul Rosas Jr. Paulo Costa. I mean, this man.
There it is. Go down. That's not it. I sent it to you on Instagram.
Okay. I might have to interrupt the stream to hop on Instagram.
Oh no! Listen, just go to go to Actually, I'll send it to you. Is there a chat?
Is this it? No.
Just write. I'm trying to think of how to get to this.
Tweet to Raul Rosas Jr.
Yeah, it was a tweet. Just go to
This one?
No, not stay away from me, please. Go. Can you get on Twitter? Just go to Paulo Costa's Twitter.
Okay.
We shouldn't even be like it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
just like,
bad. No, we're just talking, man.
it's just like Paulo Costa's like just ridiculous. Oh my god, look at this guy's page, bro.
Paulo has become the biggest troll in the community, and people love it, man.
Go down,
It's
but that's
crazy
not.
how quickly he's turned like around from being one of the most disliked to one of the most liked. And it's crazy how quickly the community can love or hate you.
I don't even see it. It's all great.
But yeah, Costa, shout out Costa. Man, it's funny. Secret juice. Oh, right here. Unfortunately, he lost this time. His beauty didn't save him. Anyway, I think he'll come back better. He's very young and has a lot of time to compete or model and such. 2 shirts is gone. We have more 6 free giveaways. Fucking Costa, dude. He's ruthless. He's
Bro,
ruthless.
this guy wakes up and chooses violence, man, every day.
Yes. Oh man, the secret juice. Mints. Funny.
him and Hamzat's gonna be it's gonna be a spectacle, man. They're gonna be saying so much ridiculous stuff.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that. That might be one of the that might there's a lot of good fights that are gonna happen in the this year. Life is beautiful, man. Life is freaking beautiful. What else is there, Oz? What's new in your world? What's new in your life?
Man, it's getting nice out, man. We've been
It's getting
miserable out here,
nice out.
and shout out Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Bro, it's been so like just trash, weather-wise, over the last like few months. So today's like, oh, shout out my city.
Looks like a little reminds me of a little bit like Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm sure Milwaukee's a little bit nicer, but yeah, you know what?
Is Windsor like a dangerous city a little bit, would you say?
No, we're in Canada, bro. Detroit's a dangerous city.
But you guys are so close to the dirty D.
But we're in Canada, so you need like it's harder to. Nobody
Why
can
is
just cross the
Canada
border.
so much less dangerous than the U.S.?
That's a good question. I mean, guns, right? Like everybody in the U.S. has guns. There's still like Windsor's. There's still a lot of shootings and stabbings like every week here, and we're a city of like 210,000 people, so it's not that big either.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
yeah, there's always like something going on in Windsor, and but Detroit's awesome, bro. Detroit's such a fun time. Like I kind of like I spent so much time in Detroit. Most people from Windsor like will identify with Detroit, and yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happens out there. And so for a while, Detroit started to get like what was his name? Is it Dan Gilbert who invested? Yeah, he invested a lot of money in Detroit. So like all these businesses, like tech, restaurants, things started opening up again, kind of in the city's core. So it's like it's way better than it was 15 years ago. Way better, but still,
Wow, it's made a difference. This one man's investment and energy into Detroit has
and
totally
like
turned it around. Huh?
you get one investor coming in, and everybody else starts to see the vision. And I mean, there was neighborhoods you could buy for a couple thousand back then, right? Like
Yeah,
because it
crazy.
was
Detroit.
there was
I remember reading articles about how China was buying up like everything in Detroit.
oh, bro, everybody was buying up once the investment started. And but yeah, pretty dangerous place too. Very dangerous place too, but it's fun.
It's fun where it's dangerous, you say, huh?
I mean, I don't want that smoke. Like I really
Is that
don't
why
want it.
people like clubs, nightclubs?
I don't even like. I don't want. It's not even a nightclub. It's just like the energy in the streets. You know what I mean? That's what I like. I like when you're outside and it's not like. I don't enjoy as much. Like it's nice from time to time, but like I don't like just like like box cutter. The Starbucks, the blah blah blah, the this, the that. You want some like locally owned businesses in the mix. You want some nice restaurants. You want some like nice like just some things that are different, right? Things that have some
Mm-hmm.
culture that are specific to that city, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Detroit still has that. It still has that
Interesting.
energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out Detroit, man. Even
That's
though I'm
cool.
here,
One thing I've noticed is anyone that is has been in Detroit, is from Detroit. They don't just like their city; they freaking love that city. Um, it's interesting. I've never been. I've been to Grand Rapids, uh, and Grand Rapids I think is awesome. I think Michigan's beautiful.
yeah. I mean, Michigan's like, especially when you go up north too. There's a lot of beauty up there. A lot of nice golf courses too. Going on a
Mm,
golf trip in a few weeks. Uh,
nice.
yeah, up in northern Michigan. But yeah, man. If you have a chance, so yeah, Detroit's fun. You should come out.
Awesome. Awesome. Maybe one day, Oz. Maybe when I come visit you, we go to Detroit, something like
hundred
that.
percent, 100%.
That'd be cool. Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. In that case, um, today's talk I thought was pretty awesome. Um, I think it's cool, this little update with how we can post these streams and talk about them. I think it's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, just check with Coach about that one thing.
yeah, what we can show without
Shout
being
out
shadow
Coach, man.
banned.
I haven't met
So
Coach, but shout out Coach.
shout out Coach. Coach is gonna kick my ass. We do a joke about how if I smoke, we were smoking on a stream. Coach makes me go all out, like 10-minute rounds on the pads, and so that's why I'm saying Coach is gonna kick my ass because on our last stream I was smoking some
Uh oh.
tobacco, and he saw that. He saw
Yes, uh,
that. I know the viewers didn't because I had bad internet, which is unfortunate, but Coach fucking saw. Awesome,
shout out
brother.
Coach, man.
Shout out, Coach. We're in touch, Oz. When are we doing the next one?
You can't Fridays, right?
Fridays. I think we can. I think we can Friday. Friday,
All
we
right,
for
let's
sure can.
okay. Let's try Friday then.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's fight for Friday. And viewers, anyone that watches, we've been getting like 100+ views and watch time on our talks, which is incredible to me. Like, holy shit, to have 100 people here with us right now, listening and talking. That's more than I expected, and I'm super grateful, happy for that, and I freaking would love for all of them to engage with us, talk to us, tell them about themselves. One of my really good friends reached out of the blue. He's like, "Holy shit, Tom! I saw you on YouTube," and I thought that was awesome. And yeah, I mean, any ideas, any ways you guys want to engage with us for us to make this better, we are all ears. Like, we want to make this inclusive and fun for everybody. Um, yeah, life is beautiful.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
Oz,
we'll get
anything you want to add to that? Yeah.
no, like just like as we kind of get into form and get a like improve and get into like a good rhythm. I think then we can invite some guests on too. Like I have a few ideas, a few surprises. So yeah, I think once we get to that level, you guys are gonna see some things that'll excite you. So stay tuned.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. If I had more time, that's all I'd be doing. I'd be hitting everyone up and being like, "Yo, you want to hop on with us? Want to talk to me and Oz?" Um, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll do that. Anyone that you guys think is interesting, let us know, and we'll try to have them on too. We'll reach out to them. Um, good shit. Awesome. Awesome. I love life. Thank you, Oz. I'm not rambling on anymore. It's almost midnight here. Why are you giggling at me? Are you giggling
Oh
at
no,
me
no,
or are you just
I'm
giggling?
just laughing because like I was laughing because like I could just picture like somebody saying like, "Oh, you should get this person," and we just DM them, and it's like total ghost,
Ghosted.
just ghosted, bro. No, eventually, I'm saying like once we get the viewership up, once we get a little bit more kind of into a rhythm, like I said, then we will bring those people on.
You're right, brother. Good stuff. All right, Oz. I'm gonna hit the hay here shortly. I'm not going to upload this tonight, probably. I'll get with Coach tomorrow and ask him about, the content we showed. And I'll post it and create some shorts tomorrow, chop it up.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good.
Beautiful. Have a great afternoon.
Take it easy, brother. Good night to you. And yeah.
Dobranoc.
Dobranoc. Please, brother.
Ciao.